Episode 112, 2 ways to sell and why most businesses fail to choose the right one. Most sales conversations small business owners have break down long before price ever becomes the issue. In this episode of Mastering Local Marketing, you can get your podcast, hey, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get it. We will explore a simple shift in how businesses sell and why many unintentionally slow down the buying process without realizing it. This conversation looks at what actually moves people from interested to buying and why saying more often and why saying more is often the problem. And I'm that guy. We're going to bring some of that in there. Instead of focusing on scripts and pressure tactics, this episode challenges how sales conversations are approached and highlights subtle changes to your sales strategy that can dramatically speed up decisions and improve new customer conversions. If you have ever had a customer seem interested but hesitant, maybe he or she will stall, walk away. This episode will make you rethink how selling really works and what to do differently the next time. Matt Hansen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Matt Hansen is a professor of digital marketing. My name is Jim Diedlow, and I own Heartland Sports Network and WJOB Podcast Network. And we've both been in the business for decades. And we just try to let what we've learned and bring it to you as your small and medium-sized business and improve your marketing. It's pretty easy if you just think about it and you listen to every one of our podcasts. Let's start with this. Let's just go straight to HSN and what they do.
All right. Well, tell me, what do they do?
Their main thing that they do is they get you to buy on emotional buys. That would be the very first thing that I think that when they sit out, they go, well, how do we push everybody down the emotional sales funnel?
All right, walk me through that, because I did not think you were going there.
Well, this whole podcast is based basically on the sales funnel. You have conversion at the top. You have in the middle, you have the consideration stage, and then you have the close.
We'll go with awareness, conversion, close, just to clarify.
I'm sorry, awareness, consideration, close. My fault. And so all of a sudden you're watching TV, Home Shopping Network, and you're looking at it, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm aware of Home Shopping Network. Well, now I'm aware of this bracelet. And now I'm thinking about it because I really like the way it looks, and I'm going to a wedding in 2 weeks. Well, maybe that would be kind of nice. And then so you're already considering it, but you're not considering it on a rational basis. You are, if that sale does not happen in the next 5 minutes, you're not going to buy that because you're going to shift from the emotional to the rational. And then eventually you're going to go, man, $2.99. I know there's only so many of them, and there might be a little gold in there. And well, I don't care. I'm buying it right now. You either pick up the phone or you just do the code, and you just buy it on your phone, and there it is. You've just bought. You've gone through that entire sales funnel. That's their business, the emotional sales funnel,
Sure.
if you ask me.
Sure. So let's, and I'm not letting you off the hook here. We're going to go back to HSN, right? So you have, your guys are out there currently selling a package, right? They're selling, so for those of you that don't know, they are currently out there selling a men's and women's basketball sectional package.
Boys and girls.
Right. All right. Well,
At that level, yeah.
Same thing.
You're in college.
Yeah.
You have to get all of the terms correct.
Okay, got it. So anyways, right? They're selling this package. Tell me what this package is all about. Like, how are they out there selling that?
They're selling a package for $1,500 that puts them on TV for all of the girls and all of the boys sectional in Indiana. If you're listening somewhere else or watching Indiana, that's a big deal. And we run a streaming video, and we also have radio stations involved in the media thing, and we just sell this package just for this tournament.
Okay. So how would you approach those companies with that package?
Here's the price point. No, not even leading with price point. Do you like high school sports?
I've watched a few games.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you like high school sports? Have you ever run a TV spot next to somebody that just scored a winning basket?
I have not.
Okay. Now you may have. I see on here you've been on with us for the radio in years past, and it's the same thing except now it's a TV commercial, and we also put the games on the radio. So it's exponentially larger than it used to be.
Okay.
All you got to do is right here. Here's the code. You can go in, put your credit card, and you can buy it, or we can just sign you up.
Okay. So what did you just sell me on?
Putting
Features.
high school sports.
Features, right?
Yeah, it was probably the wrong thing.
Right. So that's what we want to talk, right? You just sold me on
Pull your mic up.
features. You just sold me on features, right? It's the same thing if I were to go out to somebody and say, hey, I do email strategy. I will do paid search strategy. I will do social media advertising for you. Okay, cool. That's great, right? The person on the other side of the table is struggling with some kind of pain point. You mentioned awareness, consideration, conversion, right, in the sales funnel. What I do when I sit down with somebody and I'm talking to them about, marketing services and consulting and those things is tell me about your business. I won't even tell you what I do. Tell me about your business. They'll tell me, we've been in business for 25 years and, we've been doing well, but we're kind of hitting a lull. That's why we reach out to you. We're looking to get some new customers. Okay. Why are you hitting a lull? What's going on? And they'll start to tell me the stories. And I'll say, well, what are you doing differently? What are you doing the same? Right? I start to ask all of these questions to them. And we have covered this in previous podcasts, but when you are talking to your customers, it is less about you and it's more about them. So what we're trying to uncover is they've reached out to you for something. They've already started the buying process. So if somebody has called you or somebody has walked into your store, they are already halfway putting their credit card down, putting money on the table, whatever it may be. They're ready to buy. They are looking to you for that purpose. So what you are having to look at, and you talk about kind of that 40 minutes of emotional, how we think as a consumer. They've come in, they're talking to you. I have these problems. Let's talk about those problems, right? What's the pain point that you're going through? And you won't put it in the pain points. But it's funny, like my former dean who just recently left to go to Georgia never used the term pain point, right? She's a leadership professor. By the time she left, she used pain point, I think, in every meeting that we talked about, right?
Is that who I think you're talking about?
Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, she used the term pain point all the time. She's like, if I took anything away from you, it was the fact that I focus on the pain points of those around me to see how I can solve those. Instead of telling them how great we are, we look at the pain points and we start to kind of agitate those pain points. So if I'm sitting down and I'm talking, and let's just take from a consulting point of view, I'm sitting down, I'm talking with somebody, I'm asking them these questions like, what are you struggling with? What has changed? Why all of a sudden do you need to do more marketing? Well, I want to grow. I want to, grow this business. I want to give it to my kids in time, but I've got to get it to a certain level. Okay, well, what are you doing now that works? What have you done in the past that hasn't worked? And why do you think it didn't work? And you start to all of these questions and you go, okay, well, if we could solve this problem for you, how much is this costing you every single year? Do you want to be at $1 million this year? You want to be at 500,000? You want to be at 100,000, right? Where do you want to be? And is it worth the effort that you're going to put into this? So you're just agitating that pain point like crazy. And what it does is it gets people to emotionally connect with what you're talking about because you're asking them about their problems. That's a big thing, right? People will throw out their problems to you because they want to talk about their problems. Do you have a friend like this?
Everybody does.
Right? I have one that I was talking to yesterday, going down a conversation hole on text message, and all of a sudden it went that way. And I went, oh, okay, I'm not biting. Right? We kind of ended the conversation there. I'm like, I'm not going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about this. Okay, I'm going to bail right now. But we all,
Where's your patience, man?
I don't have what.
Empathy and patience.
I have empathy, but at that time I was busy. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we all want to talk about the pain points that we have. We want to get them solved. So if you're selling, and let's go back to your sectional package, it's the sectionals, great. It's, a decent price point. I can put my ad out there in front of people, but what pain point is that solving? When we look back at that and we go, okay, we have a relatively inexpensive way for you to get out there in front of the masses. Even if you're not targeting an 18-year-old, the family members are the ones that are watching these sectionals on our platform, right? We can show you the data. A good majority of them are anywhere between 30 and 60, right? There's a ton of people on here. Oh, and by the way, you're probably spending a lot of money on that billboard that's down the street that you spent, let's say $3,000 for a printed billboard that's over there. We're $1,500, and let me break down the cost just so you'll understand that we're actually saving you money that you can allocate into some of the other ways that, you might be struggling to pay for, XYZ. When you're empathetic to a business or when you're empathetic to a customer and you're listening to their pain points, you've got the emotional tie-in. They're ready. Their credit card, their money is already out because they've already reached out to you. You agitate that pain point, and over the next 40 minutes, you get them to buy right then and there. Does that make sense?
So you are going back to the emotional sales funnel.
Right.
You're going back to awareness. Oh, well, I see what my pay point is. I see what your service is. Then you go down there and say, well, the consideration is actually, can your product or service take care of my pain point? And then you're like, when the answer is yes, that's when you swirl down the bottom of the sales funnel.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, everybody wants their pains to be solved. Let me put it this way. Your browser on your laptop, how many tabs you got open?
7, 8.
7 or 8. Why?
Because I don't like to re-log into my journal or my Amazon.
Because it's what? A pain.
It's an absolute pain to get a text and then take it off your phone and put it back in. Yeah.
Okay. How many unfinished projects do you have right now?
Oh, probably about a dozen.
Okay. Do they drive you insane?
Obviously.
Okay. So we have human nature. We want to check things off of our list. I have buddies that will have 100 tabs open. And I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, I got to get back to this and this and this. And I go, so you have all of this brain power that is being given to all of these unfinished projects. Is that really how you want to live? Like, and that's what I mean by when you're talking to a customer, they have a pain point that they're trying to solve. So if they walk away from you and you haven't helped solve it, you've just agitated them even more, right? Like, I want to solve this, but I can't because I'm not getting what I want, right? So you have to look at your customers and say, I'm going to figure out what your pain point is. I'm going to figure out a solution to that. So when I sit down with potential new customers, I ask them a million questions. I want to understand every single area that they're frustrated in. And then I'm going to put together something that will solve that, or a good majority of it. And when I do that, you see them, they just light up. They're like, oh, I can't wait until like we do this because I'll have so much more time to do this, and we'll have so many more customers coming in and all this other stuff. Human nature, human psychology, we want to get rid of all of this stuff. You talk about empathy with me and like, just listen. I will listen, but I want to check things off. I want to move fast, right? And everyone is different. My wife will sit and focus on something for 30 days, and I can't spend 3 minutes on something without moving and just going. Unfortunately, that's me. I own my faults.
No patience, no empathy.
I have patience and empathy, but what I'm trying to do is solve it quickly. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to come back to it. I want to check it. It's the turn the page mentality, right? I'm trying to teach that to my kids, like turn the page, move, 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 keep going. But from a customer standpoint, you have to understand the pains. You have to agitate them. And honestly, they're already discussing it with you, which means they're already buying from you. So if you walk away from them and you let them out of that emotional state and you come back to them a week later, they're long gone. They've already solved it somewhere.
So go back to, well, let's use Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
What's their, I mean, how do they use the pain point, get it done within 40-minute mentality?
So we've all been on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or any of those. And, you know, those algorithms are built to identify what we're interested in. So it builds off of the emotion that we've thrown into it. So your feed is different from my feed, which is different from everybody else's feed. So a lot of people don't understand that. They don't get that it's literally building based on the information that you're giving to it, right? So it's kind of like when you sit down with a customer and you start asking all of these questions, what you've done on Facebook or Instagram or any of them is we've asked you the questions, which is we've put content in front of you and you've interacted, you've responded to some of it, and that now becomes your new feed. So the way we need to look at that is social media is an emotional trigger. We buy a ton of things off of it, right? I know countless people that are selling thousands and thousands of dollars of merchandise every single day off of these platforms. And it's literally because we're scrolling through and we're like, oh, that looks cool. And you click on it, and now you're down the rabbit hole. And you're just like, oh, I really want that. And then maybe you don't buy it, right? And you go back. And now you see that ad over and over and over and over again.
Boots.
And you're just like, you and your boots, right? Mine is the same, right? I actually play with the algorithm. Like I will click on something that's irrelevant to me, and all of a sudden I start to see 50 ads that all don't matter, and I just kind of laugh about it. But it's an emotional platform that we are sending all of these signals to it, and it's responding, and that's how we should be selling to new customers, is throwing different ideas out, agitating those pain points and understanding what those are, because now you're selling based off of that, which is an emotional side, instead of selling features, which is what we were talking when we started this podcast.
So to look at the selling process, I mean, I'm with Rachel, who is no longer at Purdue, is working somewhere down south. The pain point is definitely something that sticks with me. Mm-hmm. And the other part of that isn't just the pain point. The other part is that I'm a small business owner, 2 businesses. I love the business. I love what we've been able to accomplish. And I want to tell the client about those features mm-hmm. and our accomplishments, which I've learned over the years is the exact wrong way to go about it.
Right.
And so you're talking about the pain point. You're talking about listening to what their pain point is. Mm-hmm. That is the number. If Hansen says anything, choose one platform on social media. Choose one business tactic to improve over the next 6 months. Well, choose one thing is to go into a sales meeting, just try to, listen, prod, what do you call it, agitate the pain point, find out where it is, and get to that pain point. Then maybe tell them a little bit about how you're going to solve the product. What do you mean the 10% to take away all your problems?
So we were joking about this last week. How would you put 10%, or would you pay 10% to take away all of your problems, right? Like whether it's your business or whatever, right? So let's think of it. Let's go back to the consulting side of marketing. So when I sit down with people and I talk with them, I go into a meeting with them knowing we're doing something. I'm not here because I'm trying to sell you on something. I'm going to tell you We're going to identify what your problems are. I will build a solution for it, and this is where we're going. And 9 times out of 10, somebody will sign up and say, yeah, let's go, right? And if they push back on a price, what I normally say to them is, that's roughly 5-10% of where you're heading. Like, we're looking to take you here from point A to point B. I'm charging you roughly 10% of what you're going to get in return here. If I can take all the problems that you're struggling with right now, and you're going to pay me 10% of the total here to get 90% returns of where you're heading, doesn't that make sense? Like, think about your daily, all the problems that you're dealing with in life. If you could pay somebody 10% of your salary, your revenues, whatever it is, how you're measuring your worth, and say, I'm going to give you 10% to take all of that away, all the frustrating things that are causing me sleepless nights and all of that, I'm going to pay 10%. Would you do it? Of course you would. Like, of course you'd take all of those problems, get rid of them, and just live a nice, happy life of going a certain direction. And that's what we're trying to do with customers. We're trying to say, you are struggling with something. I am here to help you solve that problem. It doesn't matter going back to your plumbing friend or going back to HVAC or boots or whatever. Like, where you're going to get this stuff, and we're going to solve that for you. So, again, the story of this one is more or less understanding that pain points and emotional triggers will drive more sales than you going out there and just telling how wonderful my store is, how wonderful my service is. Here are all the pieces that I can do for you. That stops the emotional side. They're not thinking about your features. They're thinking about how you're going to help them, right? So if from HSN, we were looking at data the other day, and we measure it by cost per 1,000 impressions, right? When you look at, I was talking to Peter the other day. You posted one thing about the Bears possibly moving to Northwest Indiana. And in 6 hours, you had 500,000 impressions on that one single post. I said, man, can you imagine if my business was on that social post? I just got 500,000 impressions. What did that cost? Nothing, right? Like, the amount of eyeballs that are seeing me. If I'm struggling with awareness and I want to generate significant awareness, those are the posts that I want to be part of. And you're charging, you said earlier, right? The sectional package is $1,500. If I get 200,000 people that see my content over the next month, and I'm paying $1,500, that's nothing, right? Like, that is a huge boost. People are going to see me everywhere. So that's what I mean by understanding all of these different things. It's pain points, it's agitation, but get people to realize, like, we're selling based on solving problems, not on features.
Focus on their pain. That should have actually been the title here,
Yeah.
and hopefully it will get into the wording underneath our podcast. Go, would you please? If you're just sitting around, and you have a small to medium size business, or you work in the marketing of one, definitely please listen to our podcast. This is our 112th one. We would like to say thank you to Joe Cimino, who picked up his diploma this morning.
Wow.
From Purdue.
Nice.
In a very non-celebratory fashion. He went and picked up his diploma and came back to work. He had 45 minutes, went right over. And so congratulations, Joe, on graduating. Is this the ceremony? You're not going to walk with everybody or what? This is it.
Yeah.
This is the acknowledgement of his 4.5 years of hard work.
Well, I guess you're not going to have the 100-degree parking lot wearing full robe kind of experience, but I understand why.
Yes. I was the speaker at one of these, and that was a rather eventful moment, but hey.
And that's the pod.
Thanks a lot to all of you for listening, watching. Tell your friends, like our podcast. Until next time, see you later.